Hello, I'm Rico Cavella. Welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive impact in the world. So the title of today's episode is A Whole Approach for Achieving Your Best Mental and Physical Whole Self. And our expert guest today is Dr. Angie I forgot already how to say your name. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's Dr. Angie Aboutalib, if you take out the O.
Aboutalib. Dr.
Aboutalib.
Angie, okay. Anyway, we're just going to call her Dr. Angie. Dr.
I
Angie.
go by Dr. A.
Yeah, Dr. A, okay. She's an MD. She's a dual board certified internal medicine and lifestyle medicine physician who brings a unique, comprehensive perspective of bridging the gap between traditional medicine and innovative lifestyle approaches. Dr. Angie is the National Director of Quality and Education for a national company that oversees 500 hospitals with a focus on inpatient medicine. So, Dr. Angie, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, great to have you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you. I just want to start by what we were talking about before we came on is I just love having you on because this is the type of message that we want to get out to people that there's new ways, that you can really find the root cause of what all these chronic illnesses are, and there's all kinds of safe and healthy ways that you can deal with that. So that's what your new method called the whole med method. So we're going to talk about your new method. But first, let me just ask you, being a regular MD, how did you decide that you need to create this whole med method?
Yeah, so I look at whole med method as it was my journey in medicine. So when I was in med school, I got really, involved in yoga and Pilates. And so then when I had graduated and I was practicing for a couple of years, I decided to go and become a yoga instructor. So it kind of started there. And then after I finished my training, I got into yoga as medicine, and I actually started to teach it and became a yoga teacher trainer. So during that, exploration of different methods that we can do to help our body heal, it was very interesting to kind of take that different approach. Symptoms equal medication. And so it was like a different approach of like, let's listen to our body. Let's look at different ways to improve certain conditions. And then with that, I started really looking into nutrition and understanding exercise physiology a little bit more, and decided to become a lifestyle medicine doctor. So I'm board certified in lifestyle medicine and internal medicine. I do both because I think that medicine should not just be black and white. I think that I always say if someone comes in with an appendicitis, you want me as your hospital medicine doctor, right, to help you. But the lifestyle medicine portion is, okay, let's look at your diabetes. How do we get you into a protocol or a program to help understand how do we basically reverse your diabetes instead of just throwing medication? So I think both play a huge role, just in different spectrums of where you're at. So that's the beauty, and I feel very fortunate to be able to do both.
Yeah, well, congratulations for that. And I'm sure yoga helped you get through medical school too, didn't it?
100%.
It's pretty stressful, isn't it? Medical school, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are doctors, and yeah, that's pretty tough. So that was really smart on your part. Well, that's so good. Okay, so let's talk about some of the components of your whole med method. It says here that it kind of blends 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine with blue zone longevity strategies. So let's talk about some of those 6 pillars of lifestyle medicines that you came up with.
Yeah, so essentially being trained as a lifestyle medicine physician, this is purely evidence-based medicine. So they take the 6 pillars, which is exercise, they look at nutrition, sleep medicine, We look at stress, substance abuse, also looking at social connections. And what was beautiful about my training when I was in fellowship is like that you're really, really, really focused on where's the science behind everything we do. So it's not just, I mean, in yoga, you feel great. You go to the studio, you work out, you feel good. But then I was able to take that and really understand, okay, mindfulness, this is something I taught for so many years, but where's the science behind it? What is it actually doing in the brain? And so learning that just solidified what I was believing in, and then from there I took all of the pillars of all the pillars of lifestyle medicine, along with, we also were trained in blue zones as well. And the idea is that I said, how do we take all of this and combine it into 3 pillars? And those are the 3 pillars that really I have found on a national level, we're kind of suffering. There's no connection between the 3. And that's the whole entity of the blue, of having the whole med method, is how do we connect these 3?
I just want to say before we go on that stay with us until the end, because we have a special offer for our audience where you can get a free 15-minute consultation on Dr. Angie's website. That'll be really beneficial for you. And then we'll talk a little bit more about all the things that you offer. I know you have a whole array of different things that you offer people. And one more thing I just want to say that is to understand it, as you were saying, is that there's a big mental component to all of this chronic illness. What we know now is that what manifests in our physical body begins in our mental, emotional state. So that's a big part of what you guys are doing as well. So that's so important to understand that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some of those pillars.
Yeah. So the first pillar was the mind. And then the second pillar is the body, and third pillar is purpose. So what was interesting is that as I looked more into the research, I wanted to figure out, how do we connect everything? So if we take the body, for instance, many times individuals are looking to lose weight, and they go on social media, and social media will tell you, oh, decrease your calories, or eat this many protein, and everybody has different ideas of what you should be doing. And I said, well, what if we did a customizable approach where we take your data, right, and we know what exactly is happening in your body to tell you what you need to do to, for example, lose weight. So we put our patients into biometric testing. And so the idea behind it is that we'll look at resting metabolic rate, which will tell me what's happening in your metabolism. The second thing is that we'll check the VO2 max. We also do DEXA scan, which will look at the body composition to know how much body fat do you have, where is it scattered in, and also the most important thing is how much muscle do you have, right? So if you get on that scale, it doesn't tell me anything. And then we also have our customizable labs that we do, where we're really trying to focus on labs that you would not typically get from like your primary care doctor, but kind of tell a story where they're all connected, where I can also look at the biometric tests to say, okay, this makes sense. You are gaining a lot of fat in your visceral area. Okay, and this makes sense with this lab. The specific lab is high. This is what we need to target, because you may not have symptoms, or you may not be quote unquote like hyperlipidemic, meaning high cholesterol, but you're on your way. We're starting to see signs. So the idea is like, let's catch it, let's prevent it, let's reverse it. Or if you have it, let's work on how do we get this better. So that's the body. And then we have the director of biometrics. He also works close with me. He's a background in biomechanics and also in exercise physiology. So they get a consultation with him and with myself. So we collaborate. We do something called a huddle as a team. So we huddle together. We have the patient in the center, and really huddling each pillar, each individual that's part of each pillar. We'll kind of go through, what do we do for everybody, versus now you have, mainstream healthcare, everybody's scattered. Your consultants might not be speaking to one another. And so this is how we create this wholeness.
Yeah, that's. I just want to add that is it so good now that that we can combine science with natural healing methods that they're like the ancients know. Yeah, that's so good. Like you said, now we can prove a lot of things that we from science, that how the body functions. That's so good. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
No. And
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. So I had someone that came to me that was, eating a lot of saturated fat. And she didn't know that this was actually bad. And she was just every day eating the same thing. It was like everything. And so when I looked at her labs, I was like, all you need to do instead of putting you on a pill, we need to cut down the saturated fat. And this is what I want you to do instead. And so when we repeated her labs, she no longer had a high LDL. And so things like that you're able to say you have control and you're giving that to individuals instead of just saying, okay, right away, we're going to put you on a pill. You're like, let's talk about your lifestyle. Let's talk about everything that you're doing or things that are around you that can be contributing to this versus here's a pill. You're going to take this for life. It's like it empowers patients because they feel like there's a choice that they could definitely maybe reverse what they have.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, again, what the message we want people to know that some people don't haven't really understand that our genes really play a small percentage in how healthy and how long we're going to live. It's really all about lifestyle, and that's good, great news. That's empowering. It's really your lifestyle that is really causing most of this chronic illnesses and things. But that's good news because you can change and improve your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. The CDC came out with, the most recent statistics, and they were saying what were the three most common reasons for chronic conditions. Okay, so number one, they said it was obesity, tobacco use, and alcohol. Okay, so we're no longer blaming our genetic pool because there's a lot of science around epigenetics now. So not to say that it doesn't play a role, because definitely there's definitely cancers out there that it is hereditary, but it's just knowing that you have a lot more control. And you could definitely, with lifestyle change or reverse or even prevent some of this. And that's the beauty of our labs, that we're able to look at certain things and say, wait a minute, you're on your way to this. Let's stop it.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, well, I have a short 60-second message for our audience, and when we come back with Dr. Angie, we'll get more into more of her innovative approaches, and more about how you can connect with them. You also do virtual. You do virtual med. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be right back here.
Wake up feeling exhausted, stiff, and sore? Do you feel like no matter how hard you try, those extra pounds won't budge, and the energy and vitality you once had are slipping further away? If this sounds like you, don't give up. Feeling tired and immobile isn't your destiny. It's not too late to take back your energy, your youthful shape, and feel great in your body again. Meet Rico Taveglia, America's healthy aging trainer, creator of the Aging Living Lifestyle and the Vitality for Life Wellness Program. At age 83, Rico has the moves and vitality of someone half his age and has a fitness age of just 35. For over 40 years, Rico has helped hundreds of people just like you regain their energy and vitality. That's agelessliving.lifestyle.com/coaching to learn more and book your free call with Rico to see if you or your parents are a good fit for this transformational program.
All right, we're back with Dr. Angie and talking about her transformational program as well. So just one thing I think maybe would be a good idea to do. Let's talk a little bit more about all that you offer there. I know you, like I said, you have a whole smorgasbord of different things that you can offer people.
Yeah, so we have, kind of going back to the pillars, you can either do individual, so you can get your 15-minute consultation, kind of get an idea of which direction to take in terms of, hey, maybe it's my body or maybe it's my mind, because our mind team is absolutely phenomenal. And they do a lot of great things in terms of working on the subconscious and kind of rewiring what are some of the things that are holding you back. And so that's our mind, and we have meditation that are all physicians that guide this, and then we've got the purpose, right? So if you're somebody who's coming in saying, I want to focus on my mind, then we have our alpha wave reprogramming practitioner that you would work with. You would also work with a meditation instructor who she's also a physician, and you would also work with myself. So we would work on the science behind the neuroplasticity. How do we really kind of hone in on that and make sure that, because it takes 8 weeks for neuroplasticity to fully kick in. And so that would be kind of our program to set for the individual coming in. And then if you choose to do a lifestyle medicine consultation with me, you can get that. So that's like kind of one package. Or if you just want to focus on the mind, or the body, the body would be biometric testing. We also offer electric muscle stimulating exercises. So you wear a full-on EMS suit, which was really high tech. And the idea behind it is, instead of working out for 90 minutes, we're able to get what you would do in 90 minutes in 20. So this is great because we're able to increase muscle hypertrophy, and especially for rehab, people that are trying to go through rehab much faster. So those are like the different types. There's like 3 different ways. Or you could just come and say, I just want to try out one. And then if I like it, I can continue with the mind and the body and purpose and so forth.
Talk a little bit about, explain what that alpha wave methodology is.
Yeah, so the idea behind it is that, I'm going to ask you a question. So how often what percentage of our everyday life is in the subconscious versus conscious?
Well, I've heard things, it's about 95%, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So you're right. So what happens with traditional, therapy, which I think is great, is that you're really kind of focused on that 5% conscious awareness. So you really have to have that conscious awareness. So our alpha wave reprogramming practitioner, what she does is that she gets somebody in a state of, there's different waves in your brain, and there's 2 waves that are in your subconscious. So she essentially will do a technique to bring you into your alpha wave or theta wave, which is kind of when you're in the subconscious. And the idea behind it is that when you're in this is where you're in your subconscious. She starts then doing the therapy. And then from there, we'll kind of rewrite the story, because the story of whatever you're telling your subconscious is just playing on and on and on in the background. So she really works on that, and then gives you a tape to listen to every day to kind of, for 30 days, to rewire what you're telling yourself. And so it works very fast. I've had people come back and tell me, oh my God, Dr. A, this was the best thing ever. Oh my God, this was better than the 20 years of therapy I've done. And the idea behind it is because you're going into that subconscious that many times you might not tap into.
So this is just a tape that you can listen to, so you go into a meditation and it gets you into an alpha state. Yeah.
She gets you into an alpha state. This is about 90 minutes. She will be in this. Yeah. So you're in this therapy reprogramming with her for that long. And then she meets with you 3 times. So first time, and then after that puts you into this, and then meets you for a follow-up.
Well, that's something that can really help people. So many people have problems sleeping, right? And I know one of the, I've interviewed some sleep doctors, and they say, our brain's so active in beta state all during the day, and we're active in, if we're still on our phone or watching TV or on a computer, then try and go to bed, our brain's still in beta and you can't relax. So you have a way to meditate and get yourself into an alpha state, so then you can get into a deep sleep, right? Mm-hmm. That could be really helpful for sleep, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
People have problem with sleeping, right?
Oh, yeah. And I had another patient come to me who was a night shift professional, and he just worked night shifts. He was actually a physician. And we checked his labs, and because he's not sleeping, he had an imbalance in many of the hormones. And so it's amazing how people don't recognize that sleep is, if you're not getting enough sleep, it's likely the reason why you're not losing weight, or you have maybe diabetes. And that was what he was on his way to getting, was diabetes, because of a lack of sleep, only 4 hours a night.
Yeah, that's not going to get it. So what about detoxification? That's so important these days, isn't it, to detoxify?
Hmm. Um, in what sense? Like, are you?
Well, I think it's pretty well known now. One of the main components of most illnesses in the body is toxicity in the body, and we get it from
Mhm.
air, from water, from food, from chemicals, makeup. All these things have so we're bombarded with chemicals. So I
Oh
think it's
yeah.
really important to learn how to detoxify particularly your liver, right?
Hmm. Well, so what we do is I really, in that 90 minutes that I sit with a patient, I'm really focused on knowing everything about them, right? So we're talking about from what they eat to what they do to what products are they putting on, everything, because that gives me a full idea of like what is causing them to have what they do. I always say I believe that the body was created to want to heal itself, right? And
Yeah,
I think that many times, because of all these external things that we throw at it, it's really hard. So we're almost, a lot of the hormonal things that we are happening nowadays with it, men and women, a lot of it is linked to lifestyle. So it's really, again, and then when I come up with a plan, I always like to link my plans to research. So I'll send my patients a
yeah,
link to say, this is the evidence base that I'm telling you. So that way they understand there's science behind this. This is not just, hey, I think you're going to feel great. So they're able to, that just adds on more accountability and commitment.
yeah, yeah. That's so good. And well, as the word disease is actually dis-ease.
Yes,
The
100%.
body's the body's not at ease,
Hmm.
and because of all the stress that we're into, and again, and the stress from nutritional deficiencies and all the toxic chemicals. So you got to you got to get your body back in balance and back in ease, and then the body can heal itself, right?
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the people that you've been able to really help, and do you specialize? What kind of patient do you really like to see? Who do you think that you can really transform their life?
Oh, I always say whole med method is for everybody. I know that puts a broad,
Yeah, that's
net
okay.
out there, but
Yeah.
that's so true because
Hmm.
even the healthiest person, will come through, through our programs and say, oh my God, I didn't even know I had this, so it could be you're healthy and you just want to get yourself to that 2.0 version of yourself and you don't know what it is, whether it's losing a couple of pounds or, hey, I have anxiety at night or I can't sleep, like you said. Or it could be somebody who comes to us that has cancer and wants to really focus on how do they improve their body to get to the next level to be able to respond to chemotherapy better. So it's definitely, I think home med is for everybody in that aspect. But it's just, you have to come in, either doing the whole program together, all of it, or you're going in with the objective of, I need to focus on the mind or my body.
Yeah. Well, we just have a couple of minutes left, but I really like how you include purpose in there because
Yeah.
that's what I found. Being a personal trainer all these years, and you wonder why people have a hard time even getting started or sticking with a healthy eating or an exercise program. I think it's because of lack of purpose in their life, right? So if you're living your life purposely and you know you have a purpose, then you want to be around as long as you can, and so you need a healthy, energetic body so you can live your purpose, right?
Oh, absolutely. Purpose came to me after doing this for as long as I have, where I started recognizing people start to change their behaviors and they feel a little happy, and then there's
Yeah,
still an emptiness. And so when we had to study the blue zone, population, we really focused on the social connections and the finding the purpose.
yeah,
And so I said, well, why don't we? I had read so many books on purpose and so forth. I said, okay, why don't I incorporate a lot of the things out there in terms of the evidence that we've looked for in terms of happiness? Because I think people don't recognize that purpose and happiness are two different entities. It's actually finding your purpose does give you happiness, right? It's not,
yeah,
I'm going to be
yeah,
happy and then I'll find my purpose, right? So there's, and I always tell the story really quick that I think is funny is that they did a study where they had doctors in the hospital and they gave them lollipops and before they even saw patients. And then they found that they did a better job with seeing their patients when they got the lollipops, right? And they were like, what? And so this changed the frame of work of I don't have to be successful to be happy. It's actually being happy kind of might come before it makes you more successful. So I've incorporated a lot of those elements into a whole protocol to kind of helping people find their purpose alongside these other pillars.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, thank you so much. I really like what you're doing, and I really encourage our audience to go to wholemedmethod.com, and we'll put that link in the show description so people can find you easily. You can get a free 15-minute consultation. You can learn all about what Dr. Angie has to offer. So that was great. Thank you for a great interview.
Thank you.
And so I like to always end my shows with Einstein saying, knowledge without action is useless. So we always try and give you some great knowledge and some wisdom, but if you don't, you got to take action on it. So thanks very much for being here.